record on this computer. All right. Hey guys, wanted to hop on and give an update. This is the command compliance class. We do have it at the end of every single month. So if you're just hopping on YouTube, you're welcome to join us anytime with any questions, and you can email them over. But I did want to hop on today. There has been an update to the commissions tab. So when I get there, I'm going to show that. But I'm going to start at the beginning today. Command compliance, that is how you turn your files in for compliance review. It is also how you turn in your commissions request. And everything in command starts with a contact. So the very first thing that we want to do is go to your contacts tab. If you click the red KW, you do get words so that you don't have to hover over each one to find it. We're going to click on contacts. If your contact is already in here, then you can just go to that contact. If not, then we need to add a contact. So I'm going to search for myself. I'm going to create a new one for myself. To create a contact, you do come over to, I need to move this, the right-hand side, click Add Contact, and currently the only thing required is a name. So if you're not using the CRM, you should, because it's great and it has lots of capability. But if you're not using the CRM, all you have to do is put in their name. I'm going to go ahead and use mine. Okay. And then I'm going to click on opportunities. And for this demonstration, I am going to create a new opportunity. If you're using the sales pipeline, you probably already have an opportunity for this client and you would have already done this part. So we're going to click on Create Opportunity. Okay, we're going to fill in everything with an asterisk. If there's a co-seller, they also need to have their name in, and you would search right here. But because I came in through the contact card, it went ahead and attached it to my contact. If you go in through the opportunity tab, you will have to search for your client here. The opportunity name, you can put the address in there, or you can leave it their name, or any different way you want to have it, however you want to find it. And then you put in the commission rate. If you're a buyer, you know what the commission is. If you're a seller, this can be changed later. But go ahead and put in the commission rate. So I'm going to say 3% on this one. If you're already under contract, we're going to go to the opportunity phase of active. Okay. And then, and this is a listing one that I'm doing here. So I'll show you how to do a buying. And then you would say in negotiations. You can't go anywhere further than that until you've created the opportunity. So if you're already in pending status, you would start here and then we would move it inside of the opportunity. If it's not a listing, this opportunity type right here, that is how you can change from listing to buyer to landlord to tenant. I'm going to go ahead and stay as a listing. And I'm going to click create. All right, so now the newest opportunity for that contact will be on the top, and I'm going to click here. And that takes me into the opportunity. This is where you keep all of the data for that opportunity. The first page it takes you to is the details page. If you stop right here and add the address, if you're already under contract, you probably know the address. You start typing it in and it should populate through Google. I'm going to go ahead and use this address. Okay. That way, when you do the commissions tab, it'll already have the address since you're already sitting here. If you need to change the phase, maybe we're not active anymore, maybe we're in the pending status, I can choose the little pencil and I can say that I'm under contract. The verbiage here is a nationwide verbiage, so it's not exactly the terms that we use but basically escrow, inspections, appraisal, financing, and clear to close. I'm going to say that I'm in the appraisal stage. I'm waiting for the appraisal. Estimated close date, go ahead and fill that in. I'm going to say it's going to close on the February 26th. The contract date, that is your executed date. So I'm going to say this executed the 12th sounds good. Okay. And the close date, you can fill that in as well. It's probably the same date. All right. And listing price. Let's say we did 210. No, simplicity's sake, let's do 200. All right. So now I have all of the information filled in for this deal. The next part that we need to do, as you can see, it populated, because this is a listing, it populated the address at the very top. Now what I need to do is turn in my documents for review. So I'm going to click on documents. This is where your checklist loads. If I had turned this in correctly, I would have already had this opportunity created, because I would have turned in my listing documents. But I didn't do this correctly. I did this backwards. I'm going to turn in my listing and my contract at the same time. In order to turn in your files, you go down, have them saved on your computer as PDFs. And for the information about brokerage services on the checklist, I would click Add File. And then I would click on either drag and drop, or click on there and go find one. So I'm going to go find an IBS on my desktop in Forms. I have an IBS. So there we go. Open and assign. So now, as you can see, right beside the checklist item, I have a file name. That's how you know that something is there. You can also click on that file name and bring it up to check on it and make sure that it is correct. Okay. Command goes ahead and makes folders for you. Your listing checklist is under the listing folder under here. Your under contract folder or checklist is under the under contract. Once I have uploaded everything for the listing, I'm going to click Submit to Market Center. That is going to change the words right here to submitted. Then I'm going to go to the under contract folder. And I'm going to go find a contract. We're going to pretend, and I'm going to put in a groundwater map. I'm going to confuse our compliance department, but that's okay. I'm going to click Assign. So each one of the required documents is required with a caveat. I mean, if it is not required, it's usually required for most. The conditionally required, that depends. So like the lead-based paint, that's not required if it's before, was it 78? So you would not have to put that there. Third-party financing would not be required if they were paying cash. But if it pertains to that contract, then the conditionally required does become required. If there are any items that you need to upload that are not on this checklist, let's say you have a Fifth Amendment that was done, maybe the closing date keeps getting pushed, or the appraisal came back and needed to be changed. You can come to the top and click Add Item. You can give it a name. We'll call it CDA. You can browse. We'll give them how to submit for compliance. And then you give it a document type. So we'll call that a disclosure and click Save. That way you can upload any information to this file that you need to, even if it doesn't have a checklist item.
What's the general information? There's one on that list. It's called general information something or other, and it's not required. What is it?
Okay, where are we at? Is it on this one? Did you see it?
No, not on yours, on mine.
Is it, are you in a buyer file?
No, I'd be in a seller file. I can look. Hang on.
Let me see if I can find that.
Command.
General information to buyer and seller.
Yeah, what is that for?
There is actually I think it's a 4-page disclosure that just gives them a lot of information. It is really good to give, but it is not required normally. There may be certain instances where compliance might require it, and I don't know what those are. But it is, if you go into wherever you're getting your contracts from and put in general, it'll come up. You'll find it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so after I have uploaded everything for my contract, I can go ahead and click over here and click Submit to Market Center. Now what's going to happen from here is our compliance department is going to come in and review both files. If they find that you're needing something, then they're going to, I don't like these terms, but they're going to reject it. At that point, what will happen is if they rejected this one, and actually I can make that happen so that I can show you. Give me 1 second. You're going to get a bell notification. And if you have Kelly on your phone, she's going to give you a notification. It's going to say that your file has been rejected or approved. Did I? Okay. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and reject them so y'all can see what happens. Or returned. Sorry, it's returned is the correct. Okay. So if I refresh over here, I rejected the listing file. So what happened was Kelly just gave me a ding, and up in this little bell, I got a, it was returned. So I know that I need to come back in and check and see what was said. And I know that my listing has been, or my contract has been approved. So this is the two things. When it looks like this, what's going to happen is Patty will say, or whoever it is will say, warning, need all listing documents. Okay. She will likely spell out everything, like need your mineral information, your wire fraud, everything that you're missing. But when you log in, you'll see returned, and there's a little chat box right here. And you can talk back and forth with Patty here. However, I want to make everybody hear this. Don't just talk back in here. Even if you mention Patty Gathright, it's kind of unreliable. It will show up here, but whether she will see the bell notification is kind of unreliable. So what I would do in this, I would say, if you need to talk back to her and say, MLS page not required because it was never entered into the MLS. Okay, maybe she rejected it because she wanted the MLS page. You can do that. Sorry, I need to tell her that. So you can do that. However, come back and make a change to this file so that you can get the resubmit to Market Center button to come up over here. So I would re-upload maybe the IBS. I'm going to click replace. And then I'm going to say replace so that I could resubmit for review. And click replace. Oh, it does require that it have a different name. So I'm going to choose a different one for simplicity's sake. Okay, so now it comes up as replaced and I can resubmit to Market Center here. Okay, that way it comes up on Patty's checklist when she goes in, and it ensures that your message is not going to get lost in 1,000 other bell notifications that Patty may have received that day. Once everything is approved, you'll be able to get your CDA. However, as soon as you click submit for review on both of them, do this next step. This way you will get your CDA as quickly as possible. If we click on offers and commissions, this is where things have changed, guys. The offers tab and the commissions tab used to be separate, but it is now together, which is great. And I'll explain that why in a minute. When we click over here, we do have to accept an offer. You're just giving it the information that you would have given it at the top of a green sheet. So we're going to click create offer. And because I had already filled in the dates, there's already some in there. However, that's not what I put. I'm going to change the close date. I think I said the 26th of February. We'll keep that offer date. And we're going to click parties. Now you do have to have a buyer's name. We need that for the CDA. So Jane Doe is purchasing my house. And the other associate's name. So we'll say Brad McKissick is the agent representing Jane Doe. As you can see, I'm only filling in what the asterisk has. If you want to give it more information, that is absolutely great. But if you're in a hurry, this works as well. So I clicked on terms. Here's where you're going to go to page 1. I think I said I listed this for 200,000. So we'll say that this person is putting down $20,000 cash and they are financing 180. Okay. It generated the sales price. That's important for it to have the sales price. You can fill out all of this other information. If you are wanting to use this to compare offers side by side, maybe you're in a multiple offer situation, that's what the offers tab was really built to do. It compares apples to apples for your buyer and or seller. Your seller in this instance. So you could go in and fill in all of this information, and then it really breaks it down to where they can see the different terms side by side and just compare them easily. But if you're just doing this in order to turn in for your CDA, you're already past that, then all you need here is the sales price.
When you say the word side by side, is that something that like it produced? Like Chrissy was talking yesterday on Facebook about how she does in a multiple offer situation, she does a spreadsheet.
Yes.
And I would love to know what that spreadsheet looks like, but does this do something where you can export it to a spreadsheet and you can like make it look pretty or something?
I don't know that it is to a spreadsheet, but I do know that it will produce a PDF that has them literally side by side. So it'll have, sales price and all of that typed out side by side. And here on agent analysis, this is where you talk about that offer. The pros of this offer is it has no option period. They're putting, extra down, that kind of thing. The cons to this is low earnest money or whatever it is in a summary. That will put it on the PDF that is generated under that offer. So you're already handing them kind of an explanation for you to go over at a later time. Let me click save on that. So what you would do if you wanted to do the analysis is you would do another offer and go through that one. And at that point, you could generate the offer URL, which is what you would send to them that shows it to them side by side. So play with that so that you can see exactly what it looks like, and you'll know whether you like it or not. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so the next step, now that I have input the offer, is I have to accept the offer. Remember, this was set up in case there were multiple offers. So if you had put 4 offers in here, you got to tell it which one you accepted. You can also edit it. So maybe if you went back and you negotiated a couple of things, maybe you negotiated the closing date to change, you could click here and do edit offer. And that way you could go in and change the details. But once it is correct, we can click accept. Now that opened the commission tab. It's no longer up here. Okay, it's right here. And I'll explain why that change needed to happen after here. When I click on manage commission, this is just the agent details part of the green sheet. And I keep referring back to the green sheet because I know a lot of people that are watching this video are used to the green sheet format, or were. The first thing you need to do is clear anything that's in red. So right here, it's missing the contract date over here. That's the executed date. So I'm going to click on edit general information in that box. And I'm going to give it the executed date. I think I said the 12th. Okay. This is also where you would update the commission. Maybe during it, to make the deal work, you told the seller you would do it for 2% if you took the lower offer. Just to make the numbers work, you could do that here. Maybe since you turned this in, the repairs came back and the sales price changed, you would change that all right here. The one thing you can't change is the unit. Each opportunity is for one side of a transaction. So if you are in an intermediary, you need a listing opportunity and a buyer opportunity, and you would turn in a commissions request for both. That is because your buyer files never need to be with your seller files. They need to be separate, just like you're being separate in the intermediary. Yes, you are the agent in the middle, but you are not commingling any of that information. So that's why they are separate. This would just be for the listing side. And so you would only turn in the seller side. Now I'm going to click Save Changes. Okay, so now I've cleared that. But as you can see, since I made a change to the commission up here, because it was 3% in 6,000, now it's telling me I have too much commission. I need to come down to the edit agent payment. And I'm going to recalculate this commission. As you can see, it pulled the 4,000 from up there, and it went ahead and changed everything here. And if you want to add items, maybe it's a referral, or you received a bonus, or you're giving a concession or a credit, we're going to click on add item. Let's say that I had to, in addition to make this deal work, in addition to the commission reduction, I'm going to give $1,000 to the buyer. So I'm going to choose deduction. Never use concession, okay? Always use deduction. Concession will take it off of the top of the commission on the CDA, and it will make no note as to who that goes to. So always use deduction. So if I'm giving $1,000 to the buyer, I'm going to type in the amount. I'm going to give it description. Credit to buyer. I don't know why I'm giving the buyer money, but go with me. Pay to Jane Doe. And the address part in this instance doesn't matter. So I would give it ours. And you can give it your own phone number or our phone number. If you were doing this as a referral, that does matter. It needs to have their phone number, their address that's on the W-9, and their information in here. But as a deduction that you're giving a buyer or a seller, it doesn't matter as much. Now that I have everything with an asterisk red and filled in, I can click add. Now what that did is it added a line item here, and it is showing the net to agent. Okay, if I'm doing the referral, make sure before you do this commissions tab, you have the W-9 from that agent. You will need it in order to be able to fill this out, because you have to have their EIN number, their tax ID, and the mailing address off of it.
Would we put the W-9 in the compliance forms?
Yes. Under the contract folder, just do an add item and call it W-9, and I'll find it there. And the referral form as well. Even if that referral form is just an email chain back and forth, just put it in there so that we know how much goes to who. Okay. So when you would add item and choose referral, you would choose outside referral. It's always outside, even if they're here. Okay. Inside referrals do something weird. That's why. And you would give it the referral percentage. So let's say I was giving it a 25% referral. It calculated the amount based on the commission. I would tell it an EIN number, and I would give it the 75, whatever numbers it is. The brokerage company name, that's the top one on the W-9. Okay, so let's say it's EXP. I think they're Inc. The agent name, so I don't know who Matthew Forrest is, but that's our agent name. And this is the address that is on the W-9. That is where we are legally required to send the check. So you would take this off of the address on the W-9. So let's say, again, they're here. Start typing it in. And the phone number. This, I would put the agent's number here. Okay. That way, if we needed to call the agent to check on anything, we would have it. Once you do that, you can click add, and it will add it up here. I didn't add that because I don't want it in our system, but it would put it up here before splits that there was a referral.
How do we get that numbers, all these numbers in here to match up to what actually we get checked? Like a check, like there's like some kind of $15 fee that y'all somehow made up, and all these weird fees that don't show up here. That it just angers me when I see the difference in the numbers, and I'm like, why are they making up new numbers and just throwing them in there?
Okay, so the $15, I'm going to call it a transaction fee because that's what most people call it. That's on every single CDA, for everybody. If you
shouldn't it be here?
I'm sorry?
It should be here so we can, oh, well, there's a fee I didn't know I was going to have to pay.
That's coming. So here's what's coming. You'll be able to add your favorite title companies so that you're able to quickly add, Freedom Title, and it'll come up with their information and email address. And it is coming where you can add your favorite deductions. But currently, it's not there yet. We wanted them to fix a couple of other issues before they start working on that one. But if I get it, I want to see it right so that when I see the CDA, it matches correctly. If you want to see it, then you would do it just like we did the buyer. Do add item, deduction, amount $15, TF, our address. Okay, and it really, pay to KW. It really is that quick once you get good at it as far as adding that $15, just so it syncs up in your head. I'm with you. I used to put them on the green sheet as well. I wanted to make sure that I could take what I did on the green sheet and match it up with the CDA and just quickly tell, yep, they got everything. So you can add it that way, but you don't actually have to. Bixby is listening to me.
Is that the only thing that's different? Like, what is there any other fees that I'm not thinking of right now that might be different on each one of like? So if I know this one says 4,400 and I'm getting back 4,200, what am I missing? Like, what other fees might I not know about?
No, you've got your, if you're an individual agent, you've got your 30% company dollar or 20%, whatever that was set up. I'm in as a buyer agent, so that's why it's got the 20%. And then the 6% royalty in addition to it. But no, there's no other fees that we put on there unless you're paying a transaction coordinator. That might be on there. Other than that, no.
Okay.
Let me save changes and I can show you something out here as well. So if I click save changes, then I'm happy with that. Out here, it does have your royalty at the top and what is due. The coding is not 100% on this. Do not worry if this is wrong. I have a couple of agents that it shows still 6 months later here that they owe $200 in company dollar and they don't. They know that the coding on this is not 100% yet, and they are working on that. If your cap changed, maybe you were on a, you were an individual agent, and then you went to a team and you became a quarter capper. I'm finding that that's not changing here, but our system did change. So when I create the CDA, it'll be different. So yes, in that instance, this number may be different because you can't go in and hand change this company dollar. And if it is still pulling company dollar based on 1,800 or 18,000 here rather than the 4,500, that might be another time where this bottom number doesn't match what the CDA says. Does that make sense? Okay. I have gone over this. I like it. Everything is good here. I do not have any errors here. The most common error that I see is the listing. It says it doesn't have a listing. What it's asking there is the address. So what I did on the details page that added the address right here in this little pencil, that will clear that. Or if it's a listing, you can click up here and add the address there. That will clear this. It's just saying that this opportunity has no address to it, so neither will the CDA. Currently, I mentioned before that they're working on being able to add in your favorite title companies that you use often so that you can say I'm using, you know, Freedom Title or Title Resources, and it populate the email address for me to send the CDA. That's not out just yet. I know they're close, but if you will go to this add notes section right here and say Michelle@trnt.net, I will know that that is the title company's email address and I will email them. Okay. You can also add any notes. If you're unsure if you did something right, you can add notes here. Hey, make sure that you don't miss the referral or whatever it is. This is where you talk to me. So when I go in to create the CDA, I will see these notes. Let's pause for just a second and say that
What notes? How do we talk to you?
this note
Sorry,
section right over here.
Right there. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Put the title company's email address. I do, if I don't see one there, I go to the receipted page and try to get one. If it's not on the receipted page or it's a new home build though, I'm gonna email it to you and ask that you forward it because I wasn't able to find it. But I do make note of that in there. But yes, this note section is how you talk to me when I'm creating the CDA. I'm going to pause here for a second and I would like to show what to do if you are on a team and you need to pay another agent. The first thing you're going to do is go to agent number 1 and edit their payment. If they're not getting the full commission, maybe I'm only getting 2,000 of this. I'm going to go ahead and add 2,000 here. Okay, so I'm going to subtract what I'm giving to another agent right here and then I'm going to save changes. Okay, so that changed. I left the unit over here, but if you're dividing the unit up, you can do that under this unit section as well. Some teams do 0.5 here, and click save. So now what it's going to say over here is that I haven't given all of the money in unit away. But once I take it away from the first agent, I can click add another agent, and then I can search for them. So I'm going to find Kara. Okay. It then said, hey, I've still got half a unit and I've got $2,000. If you're dividing that again, some teams divided amongst 3, you can take away the what's left over here. Same thing we did in the beginning, and click save changes. If you're dividing up that $7.50 or the $15 fee between them, you would do add item under this person and do $7.50, and I add item under the first person and do $7.50. However your team wants to divide that up. Same thing with the referral. You would do it under both people, just their portion. Just think these are 2 different trees. So we got the base commission. We've now divided amongst 2 agents, and what is happening to each agent. That's how you do it. So I'm going to click save changes. And now I'm able to submit. Okay. Once you click submit, and I'm not actually, yes, I am. We're going to click submit. Do you want to donate to KW Cares? I'm going to say no. And would Kara like to? I'm going to say no and click apply. Once you see this blue box, it says, once you see this change, you can tell that it has been submitted, and I'll be able to find it. If it still says submit there, I can't find it. I can't pull it for you. I can't submit it for you. I don't know why, but I can't. So I'll ask for the commissions tab. Here's the new thing. So this is a listing, right? I made a listing on purpose because sometimes listings and contracts fall through. And you were not able to do first of all, you weren't able to really ask for a termination other than emailing me. You can now. You can say request termination. So as it says right here, has the offer fallen through? You can now request termination of a commission on this screen. Once the request is sent, you can then submit a new commission by accepting a new offer on the offers tab. So this one fell through. This is how I want to show what's happening. I'm going to request a termination. It's saying by terminating this commission, it will be permanently removed. Are you sure you want to terminate it? Yes. This deal fell through. I now have a new deal. Okay, so now termination has been requested. And when I go to the offers tab, I can add new offer. But guys, you also have to turn in new documents. This was the first contract. I now have a new contract. I have to turn in more documents. How do I do that? Well, we're going to put a new checklist kind of on top of it. If you come over to under contract and you do the little down arrow, you can add a version. And this one is version 2. You can name it whatever you want. Maybe you want to name it by the buyer's name, however you want to name it. We click create new version. Okay. And now the checklist, as you can see, the submitted button is all gone. It's a brand new checklist, and we can add our files here. So I'm going to add one just so that you can see. We'll add culture and action and click assign. Okay. So now I have not lost contract 1. It is all still attached. When I click on the down arrow, I can quickly flip back and forth between the 2 contracts so that everything is attached to that same listing opportunity. There's no need to create a new one and turn in new listing documents. You literally have another version here. Then you can go in and add a new offer and go through and do your commissions tab again. there was a hold up to where after you had submitted for review, you were not able to create or gotten a CDA, you were not able to do a commissions tab again. So you had to email me or do a green sheet and tell me you did a green sheet. That's no more. They have fixed that issue, and I'm super excited about it. So you could then do add new offer again and with your new offer and go through that. If you need to ask for a revision of a CDA once it's done, please email me. That is the best way. I try to get to those every day, maybe every other day if not possible every day, but email me for any CDA changes after one has been created. But we did come through some steps today and get a lot of new information. So let me know if you have any questions or you need anything. I am always here to help. Email me, DianaRoberts@kw.com. I hope you guys have a great day.